Yeah. All right, popping back in. So we want to first travel back a little bit and talk about the fight for the baddest man on the planet, supposedly, which was the fight between Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou, and the fight where Ngannou, who I still feel lost, even though and I'll be honest, like I was boycotting this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the shit either
I
initially.
I still thought of it as a gimmick fight. But one thing I will say from the footage that I've seen, he gave Tyson Fury trouble. Tyson Fury was never ever able to clearly hurt him. He dropped Tyson Fury in the third round. But we got to remember that in boxing, you score points by winning rounds, and it's unless there's a knockdown, you only get 1 point for that round. And I still feel that he did win the fight by just winning more rounds. But Ngannou did a lot better than a lot of, this was, he was a debutant in this fight. He had never fought professionally at any kind of high level. I mean, or he had never fought in amateurs or professionally in boxing, even though he originally came to France to be a boxer. He was convinced to go in towards MMA. Um, and we want to give him credit. And we're not the only ones giving him credit because the WBC has decided to rank Francis Ngannou in their top 10 heavyweights, which opens up a plethora of possibilities for him out there. So, I mean, what is some of your thoughts? Do you think that is justified, a fighter that is 0-1 ranked in the top 10 for the
Um, Not really. No, it isn't justified. There, you got guys out here in boxing who've been toiling away for years and years and years and years trying to, just make ends meet. Right. A lot of them not even interested in top 10. They're just trying to, whatever, pay the mortgage, pay whatever bills they got. But it's one of the benefits of celebrity, right? This guy used his celebrity and his fame in UFC, which is for all intents and purposes a different sport, right? He was able to finagle that into a huge opportunity, right? An exhibition match against, a guy who many consider to be the top heavyweight in all of boxing, did much, much better than I had anticipated, and a lot of pundits had anticipated. And look, the WBC being a for-profit organization, despite their IRS designation as a non-profit, right? All of these sanctioning bodies, I'm pretty sure, have IRS designations as non-profit, which is bullshit, right? They're a for-profit organization. Look, Deontay Wilder's on his way out. Wilder's got a couple of fights left in his career. I think Tyson Fury is not long for this world, and I don't think Anthony Joshua is long for this world either. The WBC is trying to set themselves up, I think, to have the next cash cow potentially at the heavyweight division. And Ngannou brings fans with him from the UFC already. He's got a fan base that's already built in. And look, this is a business. This is business. This is business for the WBC. So I say all that to say this. No, it's not right. It's not fair. But it's smart business by the WBC. And I'll say this. Look, we're living in an age in boxing where we've talked about this a little bit, probably more so off air than on air. I think the coaching is at an all-time low, and so the experience and the skill set of the coaches is at an all-time low. The experience and skill set of the fighters is at an all-time low. And what you're seeing, especially in the heavyweight division, are guys who are durable and guys who are power. It's able to take these guys a lot further in today's boxing than it would have, decades ago. And Ngannou is a guy who appears to be very, very durable and to be very, very strong. And
So,
let's see.
do you see him being competitive and even beating fighters in the top 10?
Well, it's going to be interesting. I think the short answer is yes. I do think he's going to be competitive. It's tough to see him going there against a guy in Fury who I have as my I think is the number one, at the very lowest, the number 2 heavyweight in all of boxing, be as competitive as he was and not think he's going to be competitive against F.A. Ajagba, who was number 7 in the WBC, or Martin Bakole, who was number 9 in the WBC, or an undersized guy like Andy Ruiz, who was number 5 in the WBC. I absolutely positively think, yes, he has a chance to be very, very competitive against all these guys, if not beat some of these guys outright. F.A. Ajagba is not a guy who, from a skill set standpoint, should blow anybody away. Dillian White is well past it. Dillian White is the number 8th ranked guy in the WBC, right? I mean, if you're Vegas, do you have Dillian White favored to beat Francis Ngannou after that performance? I mean, not that Ngannou blew me away with his skill level, but again, power.
He's a real guy. This guy, I mean, I haven't I've seen his fights in UFC where they wear 4-ounce gloves, and I've rarely seen him hurt. You know, I saw him a couple of times just stunned, where he was just kind of coming in for the kill and got caught, but I mean, never off of his feet. But one thing
I seen him get kicked. I forget who it was. I saw somebody put their shin bone right on the top of this guy's head, like right up by his temple. And the guy, like Wolverine, just shook it off. I said, shit.
Yeah. I think that was Cyril Gahn, who's
that might have been Cyril Gahn. It might have been Cyril Gahn. It might have been Cyril Gahn.
One person that I think that he should stay away from is your boy from China.
Oh, Zhilei Zhang.
Zhilei Zhang. I think that this guy has a long storied amateur career. He's very skilled, and I could just see him walking your boy Ngannou into one of those right hooks, similar to what he did to Joe Joyce. And
well,
that guy, and he's a big guy too.
Yes, he is. But lucky for Ngannou, Zhilei Zhang has some sort of secondary title within the WBO, which prohibits him from being ranked outside of the WBO because he is classified as a champion. So yeah, and Ngannou is not ranked in any of the sanctioning bodies, so he doesn't have to worry about Zhilei Zhang. The only guy that's got to worry about Zhilei Zhang is the Fury Usyk winner, because he is in the mandatory position for the winner of that fight within the WBO. So he doesn't have to worry about, Ngannou doesn't have to worry about that. I mean, look, and being ranked in the top 10, I'm not sure what the WBC is going to sanction as far as opponents. I don't know that he has to fight. I don't think he has to fight an Andy Ruiz or an F.A. Ajagba.
No, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to fight. Basically, this is what he wants to do. This is what he stated. He said that he will, because he's under contract with the PFL, which is the
that's right,
Professional Fighters League. So he's under contract with them, but they have given him a provision in his contract that allows him to fight. But he still has to honor his contract and fight for them. But he said that he will sit on the sideline and wait for Fury and Usyk to basically deal with their fight, because it's, there's a two-way rematch clause in there. So they're both, we're assuming, gonna exercise it. So I think that he's just gonna, and unless he gets a very enticing offer from one of two fighters, either from Anthony Joshua or from Deontay Wilder.
AJ, a fight with Anthony Joshua, I'll tell you what, Cam, if they make that fight, and if they make that fight in either Paris or they make that fight in the UK, we're going.
Yeah, I'm down.
The atmosphere for that fight, Cameroon versus Nigeria.
Oh yes.
In the UK or in Paris, we're going. We going
Crazy.
to that shit.
It's crazy.
We going to that shit.
That's crazy.
Cameroon versus Nigeria it's already, the rivalry is already, I mean, the countries share a border.
Yeah.
Right? They're huge soccer rivals. I mean, that would be massive. So him, but backing up a little bit, his plan is a bunch of bullshit. And I wish if you had led with that, that to me is a bunch of bullshit. You can't. He shouldn't be able to just sit within that top 10 and wait for the winner of Fury and Usyk. You're not in a position to challenge for a title. Remember, the exhibition was not for a title. That was just an exhibition, from what I remember.
And for one, and because I was questioning it because there was it was only 10 rounds, and you have to, it has to be a 12, it has to be a sanction for men's boxing, it has to be a 12-round fight. So it was not
for a title.
It was not for a title. They had some kind of BS title that they drew up there. Not for an official heavyweight title, right? Not in a 10-round fight. That's not gonna fly.
Yeah. Look, if you're Anthony Joshua's people, it's hard to not at least consider that fight. I mean, it is such a, he'll make more money in an Ngannou fight than he will in a Wilder fight.
I believe so. I believe
because
so.
Wilder's gonna make. We'll get into those guys in our next segment because we're going to talk about that massive card and the results from that massive card that they announced today is really going to factor into the decision-making process of Ngannou's people. Look, I mean, Wilder and Joshua, it's got to be Joshua. Right, I think Wilder is a distant second option if it's between Joshua and Wilder.
Yeah, I think internationally, I think Joshua is easily the bigger star internationally, and so because I mean Joshua, I mean but he fills out stadiums over in the UK, and then in just in Europe in general, he's a big he's a big draw. So
all over the world
with that, yeah.
He had a poster up in the Emirates, one of those countries, Dubai or Abu Dhabi, one of them places, right in the airport, right as soon as you walk in. Yeah, as soon as you get in there. Anyway,
so we'll use that to segue to our last and final segment, which is this big card that is coming up at the end of the year.